Welcome to SOULutions, where men come out of the shadows to testify, giving tips in manhood, honor the codes of integrity, and give out real solutions for soul survival. Today, we have on the show the man who understands the importance of balance, a man who has found his fountain of wealth through health, family, and friendships, a businessman, an overcomer, a man of execution. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the general himself, Keegan Sims.
Thank you, sir.
What's going on, boss?
You got it, man. Happy to be here, man. Happy to talk with you, you know?
I appreciate it. You ready to drop these gems and answer these questions today?
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep it 100, man. I'm gonna tell you my story, like what I learned in life, you know what I mean? And hopefully it impacts someone else along their journey as well.
Absolutely. Here we go. What person did you meet or see that gave you the drive towards the man you are today? Who or what defined you?
What person did I meet or see that gave me the drive that I do have today? You know, I can't say it's one person individual, one individual person. I think it was just an amalgam of a number of different characters. So I didn't really, you know, Pops was, he was there, he was in and out, you know what I mean? But you know, it was at that time that people were doing their best, right? So I didn't have a constant figure that was there guiding me along the way and providing information and guidance. And so I kind of pulled that from my peers that were around me. I seen what they were doing and I picked some of and I had the mind. I was fortunate to have the mind to be able to pick some of the good things that were happening, even amongst out of the bad things that were happening, bad traits that they may have had. I figured, I had Al Bush. So he was my neighbor's, like my downstairs neighbor's stepfather. And he was an older gentleman that just kind of imparted some game to us. And we pulled some of those and incorporated that into our life. And then reading, you know what I mean? I was an avid reader. Like I was always trying to escape, like improve my situation and figure out what my path was going to be. And as a result, like I picked up Rich Dad, Poor Dad early on, you know what I mean? Just different. Larry DeNoia in high school, I was doing it was like an internship. And Larry DeNoia gave me this book. As soon as I got there, like Caucasian gentleman, no relationship, but he was like, doing something out of, service and it impacted me. He had a finance and accounting firm in my town, right? And he gave me a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, right? I believe Stephen Covey was the author. And at that age, I was just like, cool. But then I read it and it was just like, it helped me. I kind of incorporated that into my daily, regimens, you know what I mean? And that kind of helped propel me. But someone that, took a step out and said, yo, here, young man, here, check this out, read this book. I took the liberty to actually read that book and pull some gems from there. So just little people throughout my life were impacting me. And then I kind of just was able to incorporate that into me and become the next level that I am.
Absolutely. If you can give us maybe 2 things from each book that you learned from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and also from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, what would like 2 things you got from that you could help someone today to steer someone in the direction of reading those books? And the author name is Stephen Covey. You're absolutely correct.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna list a couple books. All right. I like The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I hope I said his name correctly, but The Alchemist was a dope read, and it helps you find your North Star, you understand what you wanted out of life, and it's just like, it helps you, it tells a story of how individual came to find out his true calling or what he needs to do in life, and gave some guidance And I think I pulled from that, like just finding your true North Star and then doing activities that kind of lead you towards that direction. If it's not, you got two choices in life, right? You got a choice A, a choice B, and are actually any of these choices going to bring you closer to your North Star? Are they going to bring you further away or closer to your goal, right? And so I use that binary kind of concept, like when I'm faced with critical choices or choices. Do I invest in here, or do I put money on a Gucci bag for something more? Buy a material good. Is that going to bring me closer to my financial goals? What is it going to do for me, right? So I'm gonna pass there and put that money to work for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So Alchemist, the richest man in Babylon. Okay, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that book. Klassen, I want to say. Klassen is his last name, the author of that. Great fundamental principles of building wealth, bro. You know what I mean? So kids, whoever, check those books out. Richest Man in Babylon. Basically pay yourself first, okay? Pay yourself first, a minimum of 10%, okay? And live off the, then you put money towards your household and all this other stuff and renegotiate your debts. You always pay your debts, but you negotiate and pay, what makes sense. And then eventually you get out of that debt. Stay away from debt if you can. You know what I mean? That's one thing I would tell. Debt is bondage. You know what I mean? So get rid of that debt. Invest. And that's pretty much talking about the foundation of building wealth, generational wealth, in Richest Man in Babylon. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, similar concept, just like, he had a rich dad and he had a poor dad. And it talks about the contrast between the two. Like the poor dad had a job and just the job was his source of income. And that's all he really relied upon. Whereas rich dad had multiple streams of income, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he bought appreciating assets, So when I say appreciating assets, you're buying things that are going to appreciate. A car depreciates as soon as you drive it off the lot.
Right.
You understand? So I'll give you a case in point, like me. I came out here in LA. I was on the scene. I had like the fly Range Rover and all that stuff. My company was paying for it and cash flowing it, but then when that went away, like I could have a fly car right now, right? Whatever these guys, whatever you could imagine and dream of, right? But I know my car is 10 years old, a hybrid, and that's like my badge of honor, son. You know what I mean? I love that shit. I love that, and because I know. And actually, another book, like I read about Warren Buffett's his lifestyle, and a gem from him. He was like, "Yo, he could buy any car he wants to, but he chooses to not. He knows what he could do with that money in the market. Right. So that $100,000 vehicle that I'm plopping down, I'm paying monthly on or whatever. I know what I could do with that money in the market, personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I want to encourage a lot of us to understand the basic principles, financial principles of investing in the stock market. It's a powerful tool that people have been using for generations, and we've always been intimidated. It's scary, the jargon, it's risky, it's rigged. No, bro. Like I'm a living example. Like I'm not rich and can retire tomorrow, but you can see where I started from and the tools that I've been using to help me get to a better place. You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think I went on a tangent, but that's something that's really near and dear to my heart.
No. It's very important. If it's near and dear to your heart and it grew you as a person, we want to know about it so we can apply it to our lives and take the pieces just like you took from your friends, just like you took from Al Bush. And the name of the author for the King of Babylon is George Clason.
Yeah, Clason.
And I want to encourage everybody to read. It's absolutely fundamental, of course, the cliche thing to say, but you can also take pieces and create yourself. And that still makes you authentic, 1000%. We appreciate you dropping these books on us. You hear so many people talk about the 7 things highly effective people and Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's like a thing going around. You hear the Alchemist book go around. So you want to get these basic tools of knowledge of communication. So when you run into people like yourself and you're wealth building and you're building like mentally and talking, you're open and receptive to the conversation of communication.
Right.
Right. Do you have a vision board?
You know, I did have a vision board years ago. My wife, she has her vision board. I would show it to you. But we do believe in like visualizing. So what I do though, so I don't have a vision board per se, but what I do is I try to meditate twice a day, right? Mm-hmm. So twice a day, part of that meditation, I'll do like the guided meditation with the instructor or what have you. And then for like the remaining 10 minutes or so, whatever, I will visualize. So I'll continue that. After that ends, I'll continue with the visualization and just feel like, or just dwell on a certain area that is, so they call it reflective meditation. So I'll take a topic that I want to think about and try to work through. And as my thoughts start wandering, I anchor myself back to that main thought, like that concept that I wanted to work through. And that's kind of pretty much the concept of meditation as well. Is it's like, sometimes you're concentrating on your breath. Your breath is your anchor, right? So you're just watching your thoughts as they go by. They're going to come. And then as they come, you know, just like, oh, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be concentrating on my breath and just deep breathing, you know what I mean? Your 4 count, your box breathing and stuff like that. And that's been tremendous for me.
When you first started meditating, how long did it take you to knock away the debris of your memories that were blocking your concentration? I know when I first started, there were so many things that rushed at me from the quietness that I almost had to do this, like knock them away with my hands, not get out of here. I'm not thinking about that right now. And it's mostly, you know, you start thinking about great encounters you've had in your life, like great memories, like great nights, great moments, and you want to block all that stuff out. How did you get to a point? You said just focus on your breathing. Was that the main thing?
Yeah, so I'm still not there, man. I'm still practicing. Like thoughts will come in, but you know, you get better. You know what I mean? Like right. Anytime with anything, as you do it more and more, you get better. But even still, like thoughts will float in, and I'll be like, okay, let me just get back. And that's the thing too. Like I try not to judge the thoughts. Like, oh, I'm supposed to get back here. I just watch them float by.
Yeah.
Almost, all right, cool. Let me get back to it. You know what I mean?
It makes me think what's really on my mind. You know?
Right. Yeah. And then sometimes I'll have a session where I just let free thoughts flow through, like whatever comes in my, like it's like whatever the purpose. I go into it with a purpose, and sometimes I'll do that. But it's practice, man. But I tell you, bro, without meditation, you know what I mean, that it calms my body, man. Like stressful days, life happens, and then you just remind yourself to breathe, take a deep breath, and it just brings you back to like, okay, let's do this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What type of affirmations are you telling yourself every day?
You know, I've kind of gotten past the for me at this point right now, because I used to, you know, just think positive and like I don't have negative thoughts that come. Well, I guess we all do have negative thoughts, but I don't let them live there. You know what I mean? I don't let them stay. I'm like, get out of here. Like I have a vision of when a negative thought comes in my mind that says I can't do something or something is whatever. I have a vision of myself tossing it overboard off a ship. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, get out of here. It's gone. I'm back. You know what I mean? I can do anything. You understand? That's my mentality. It's like, yo, with God's help and you know what I mean? And like nothing can stop me. There's no, I quote Beyonce, I never seen a ceiling in my whole life. There's ceilings out here, trust me. But it's like, yo, I'm not gonna let that stop me. We're gonna figure it out. That's how.
Quote, sir. Actually, Blue Ivy said it first, and Beyonce.
Okay. That's the mentality, man. Like, yo, like people gonna try to stop you. They gonna even your peers, like your close friends in your circle, in your camp, might be hating on you. You know what I mean? Your family,
you know,
hate on you.
Since you spoke so much about books, there's a book that I love. Absolutely, it might be one of my favorite books in the world. And it's called Do the Work by Stephen Pressfield. and it's like a 90-page book, and it talks about resistance. And resistance can come from anywhere. Here's the book right here, ladies and gentlemen, if you are paying attention. It's called Do the Work by Stephen Pressfield. It's only a 90-page read. This book saved my mind in quitting and I'm not a quitter.
Yeah.
When I was bogged down, I had to understand why I was bogged down. This book talks about resistance. Resistance from people, family, and friends. Sometimes they don't even know they've been sent to be resistance for you.
Yeah.
And it's about you recognizing resistance and recognizing when you're under attack.
That's
because just because blessings come through people, so does resistance. And they don't know they're doing it because they're being used at the moment in a negative light. And now, not saying that they are there to hurt you, but you have to recognize resistance. And they said resistance can come from anyone at any time, even your spouse, sisters, brothers, uncles, cousins, it doesn't matter. Within that moment of your light trying to shine, resistance will hit you. So, ladies and gentlemen, another book we're going to throw out. Since we're throwing out books today, this is a great time because this is one of the first interviews we get to throw out books. So the books is good. Do the Work by Stephen Pressfield. And that's one of my favorite books that I ever read. And I think I read it constantly over and over again, just to remind me of what obstacles are in my way. Now, you said that you had a vision board some years back.
Yeah.
Can you tell us two goals of that vision board? One that you reached, the apex that you reached, and you said, wow, I can't believe I did it. And one that you're currently chasing.
Ooh, man, you gotta, like, this was years ago on my vision board, but at that time in my vision, like in my life, I wanted the fly ass car. I was kind of like at that point, so I wanted the fly ass car. I wanted a business, and like I wanted home ownership and stuff like that, like a dope ass crib, and actually I came pretty. I could say I knocked off the car. I had the dope ass Range Rover. I had the 760 IL BMW for a while. You know what I mean? So I had those joints. That's the V12 joint. You know what I mean? Back in the day, I owned the frozen yogurt shop. You know what I mean? Out here in California, in LA. Sold that, for profit. You know what I mean? So, and then I got a dope ass, like a simple man. I got a dope place, like investing in assets. I bought. Let me tell you my story. I bought I'll tell you a good story for y'all, man. So I put together a plan, right? So the game plan was, my buddy of mine out here, he owned the property, blah 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 blah. I was in a plush property. And then I said, you know what? I'm gonna do a bid because I need my own property. I need to own something, right? Instead of paying, the rents that I've been paying and stuff like that. So I not squatted, but I stayed in one of his properties. It had it was a small spot, like maybe 500 square feet, with no AC, no oven, no. I had, like we joke, he was a slumlord, So like I had it wasn't sexy. That's what I'm saying from what I was used to, right? But I said, you know what? I'm gonna pay a low amount of money. I'm gonna save this money. I'm gonna use that money and leverage that to cop this condo or whatever this property is, and then like use that in that process. I even got married and had my wife living in the same spot. Even though we could afford a nice, sexy spot, my wife was like, yo, nah, Keegs, let's just go down the street and get this dope spot and we'll just figure it out. I was like, nah, let's just, we had a plan. I had the plan.
You had the plan.
And check it out. So it worked out. We saved enough money. I call it doing a bid. I could do a bid, So we did a bid for about a year, stacked up a bunch of money, used that money to cop a condo. We copped a condo, stayed in there for a few years, built equity in there. Okay, built a lot of equity because LA, the properties, you know what I mean? Fortunately, they appreciate, or we were fortunate to get in before we were priced out. So we got a lot of money from that when we sold it, leveraged it to get into another property. You know what I mean? Which is not far from the beach and all that stuff. So I just wanted to show, like, yo, do a bid, save. You got to save and get that capital. Like, work multiple jobs. Don't be afraid to work multiple jobs. I did it. You know what I'm saying? Work multiple jobs, save your money to get that cushion that capital that you can use to leverage to keep growing. You understand? Oh, I'm gonna give you another book because I got that concept was reiterated to me by so a buddy of mine, my boy Elton, right? So I'm bringing you to another thing, but my boy Elton recommended this book, and he was gung ho, and he's wealthy, he played ball and stuff like that, not to whatever, but he's wealthy, he made it already. And so he's sharing with me concepts and books that really encourage him to keep moving and growing and getting to that next level, okay? And that book was the 80-20 principle, but I want to get you the author of that.
80-20. Right. Now that book I'm definitely unfamiliar with. I should know it.
Koch is the author, his last name.
Okay.
So I invite people to read that one too. Because that's a recent one that he was just like gung-ho, and he did have a lot of concepts in there that was dope. Richard Koch, the 80-20 principle. Okay. So 80% of the outcome and the comes from 20% of your work. You know what I'm saying? Like focus your energy on the 20% that's bringing 80% in, and that's what you start really.
You finished it already?
Yeah, I finished it. It was dope. I recommend it. But anyway, so he was just saying like how to get ahead. Like he was just thinking, how do you get ahead in life? No matter where you are. Right. You have to start with some capital. You know what I mean? You have to figure out how to get some capital initially, and then watch it, and then keep letting your money work for you, and just figuring out ways. And that was kind of like an example of that in real time. Like, yo, I did a bid, man. Like I call it doing a bid, like working multiple jobs, you stacking, you're doing it because you have a vision where you're trying to go, and you get there, and then now your shit starts bubbling. You know what I mean? And now you can do something. You can leverage that to have an impact with someone and share your story, like hopefully like we doing, sharing our story. Like this is a way. It's not the way. It's a way that's worked. Right. And we came. I came from. I was in Section 8 housing up in the Skills or whatever. You know what I mean? Like single parents. It wasn't. It wasn't pretty.
It wasn't sexy for none of us.
Yeah, it wasn't sexy. So we could do it though, man. And we
have done it, and that's why we're here today talking about it. We definitely have done it. For those, the backstory is that we all come from single parent situations, right. And we were all able to maneuver through the sewer that we grew up in.
Here you Absolutely.
Go. How early did you?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Another gem for y'all. Surround yourself with positive people. Okay. So important. Who you hang out with, who you sharing information, who's you spending time with, who's in your chat, in your group chats. If they negative, if they're a Debbie Downer and just killing everything, and wish them the best. Don't have any animosity, but we just can't rock right now. You understand? If you going down a certain path, and I'm trying, I'm giving you some game, and we just not vibing, and you're bringing danger to me by associating with you, I can't rock with you. Learn that as soon as possible. And that's why, like when I was coming up, there were certain people that got caught up, this, you know what I mean? And it was a point where me and El would be on the phone. This is like 9th grade. 8th grade, right? 8th, 9th grade. Me and El would be on the phone mapping out what our futures was gonna look like. And literally everything pretty much mapped and worked out the way we had envisioned. It wasn't a straight path, but we were sitting there saying like, yo, you gonna play ball. That's you set. You got your shit all together. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go get this education, right? I'm gonna go to finish high school. I'm gonna go to college. Then I'm gonna go get this grad degree just in case. I'm gonna leverage that as a backup just in case stuff don't work out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna buy this house. I'm gonna buy property. I'm gonna use that equity from the property to start a business and do. You know what I mean? So and then the other vision, literally, we sitting there saying like, yo, you're gonna be playing. I'm gonna be in the stands and I'm gonna be mingling with the season ticket holders, and we're gonna leverage that and do that. Those relationships. Is a lot of that shit happen. You know what I'm saying? Right. And we were saying we're gonna stay away from the drugs because the drugs. And when we were coming up like that, in the community. It ravaged us. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And good people went down, did football numbers. You understand?
Yeah.
And so imagine, because out, from DB in the hood, you know what I mean? Like could have dabbled, like his family was in, you know what I mean? Like we could have went left, and we sat there and made a plan and said, you know what, this is how we're gonna do it. You're pretty good in school, I'm pretty good in ball, like, you know what I mean? This is how we're gonna do it, take the long road, not gonna forego these short-term benefits for the long-term goals.
Right.
And God, and if we didn't have each other, like, or people like that, we brought our boy Trev along as well, you know what I mean? Like if we didn't have that energy with us, you know what I'm saying? And that guidance to bounce that knowledge off each other, like, yo, this is how we're gonna do it. And that support system, we done went left. In our life, I don't know if I'll be here like this right now. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's important for people to realize it's okay to lash onto somebody whose future seems certain and going in the right direction, because you have some hope there, right? You kind of knew in the back of your mind that Elton was going to be an NBA player, right? Because he was just trending in that direction. But whether he was trending to be around the right people, you can assess that, and now you can hit yourself to the energy of that, not following his success, but the energy of it to take up some of that know-with-all. I have also a gem to drop for everyone. When I was in college with our friends, we paid for dorm rooms. We paid for dorm rooms the first 3 years, and we couldn't wait to move off campus and get our own apartments and have off-campus housing. But what we did not understand was we should have never paid for dorm rooms, and we should have never paid for off-campus housing. From the beginning that we set foot and decided we were going to be at that college for 4 or 5 years, we should have went and bought our first homes.
Facts.
And then every 6 months buy another home. Like move, like 3 or 4 guys moving together. We pay down one home. Every semester we move into another home. So this way we can leave college owning homes and already starting wealth building. So those who have this opportunity to hear that gem, I hope you don't stay in a dorm room, and I hope you don't live off campus. I hope you live in your own house. And I hope you understand, when you live in your own house, you won't throw a lot of parties freshman year in there. You won't do a lot of things. You'll still go to other people's places, and you probably won't even let people know where you live, because you know what? You own that. You're going to take way more important than that. And after you leave college, you then can rent it out to the next kid who's not privy to the knowledge that I'm speaking today.
That's a fact. That's a gem right there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that's a means, Yeah. Real estate, property, equity.
Absolutely.
Pass it on, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Along the road, you taking this long road, short-term, long-term goals with you, Trey, and Elton. You guys are getting in, you're going through there. What did you sacrifice?
I sacrificed probably like for the long road, I sacrificed time hanging out, time playing video games, time playing, because long road involved studying. You know what I mean? Like you had to prepare, read, prepare yourself, prepare your mind, go to different conferences or whatever. You know what I mean? So the short, like, short term is like, yo, why I want to read that book? Why I want to do that? That's gonna take time, and there's gems all around us, bro. All around us. You just gotta be receptive. You know what I mean? So take the time to go out and seek that information. Okay.
Break it down to me how you prepared your mind to make that sacrifice. And so many people, they don't understand just doing it is just the thing. But if you can give a step to how to prepare your mind to not get on the game with your homies, to not go outside and play when you know you're just playing and it has nothing to do to promote yourself, to not go out with that chick this night because you got to study, and how that attracts the right woman instead of the woman for right now. Give us a how to get that started. Because listen, I'm a guy who hates to read. I'm gonna be honest. I hate reading, but yeah, that too. But I will say this: I love to research. So it's kind of like backwards of me. I will read anything that involves me getting smarter at what I'm doing, but just picking up a book and reading has not been the best attribute for me. So this is for me also. How do you prepare your mind to go? Because you have time. The problem is you didn't prioritize it to have time.
Yeah. So it's not to say like you can't play games or do whatever and have fun. 'Cause I like to have fun too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just allocating time for the work, right? So making sure your work gets done and then you can play. So I think there's another book I'm about to drop on you. Atomic Habits. Okay, Atomic Habits. If you look up the author, but Atomic Habits, and the Power of Habits, I think, or something. But Atomic Habits is pretty much the book you can go to, and basically what that is building habits. Okay, and how it teaches you how to build a lasting habit. So scientifically speaking, it takes about 66 days for the average person to build a lasting habit. So you do something consistently every day for 66 days, it's on average, you'll develop a habit where it's just something that you do. So for me, it might be, eating right, healthy, studying, read, like whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish. I got to do that consistently every day for 66 days approximately. And it's just becomes something that I just do. And then now that you mastered that habit, so whatever habit you want to do, check out that book. You'll build the habit. You figure out, make it easy. So if I want to wake up in the morning and go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning or whatever, I'll make it easy. I have my clothes. So I might sleep with my clothes, but usually I have my gym clothes right there, right next to me. So I don't got to wake up, think about where I got to get my, find what I'm going to wear and all that stuff like that. Make it easy. So it's in your normal flow, right? So now it's easy. You don't have to waste energy. But anyway, I say that to say this. Building a habit, 66 days, do it consistently every day for at least 66 days. Then it's just a layer. Now it's in a deeper layer of your mind. It's not on the top where you have to think. It's just something that you automatically do. This is what I do. This is my routine. I feel off when I'm not doing my routine. What's going on? Oh, I didn't do that yet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So now you can take that to the next level. Now it's sunk. Your mind is already there. You got that knowledge now. You got that. This is what you do. Take it to the next level now. I'm telling you that, like, building habits. Most people think like 30 days to build a habit. 66 days scientifically. Also, eat the frog. I don't know where I got that term from, but it's somebody famous mentioned it. But it's basically do the hard thing first. Early in the morning, do the one big thing, right? That one big thing that makes everything else either obsolete or easier. Okay? That's another, I'm dropping these books, boy, I'm telling you, but one big thing.
Atomic Habits is James Clear, if anybody wants to know, James Clear.
There you go, James Clear, Atomic Habits, I recommend that one. And the one, I think it's One Big Thing, or The One Big Thing, by Keller, I want to say, or something. Okay. And basically what that book is about is, like, you know how we have a laundry list of to-dos and stuff like that we want to get to. Mm-hmm. But in reality, you knock out that one, you say, of all these things, if I do this one thing or maybe two things in the first thing in the morning, when I'm most likely least distracted and most likely to knock it out, right. It would make everything else either obsolete, I don't got to do the rest of this stuff on the list, or a lot easier. That's another book. Build those habits, your life becomes easier.
One Big Thing by Phil Cook.
What is it, Phil Cook?
Yeah, Phil Cook.
Let me see. I want to make sure, because I want to make sure I got that title right.
Absolutely. No rush, brother. We appreciate the gems and the books you're dropping. Listen, a lot of people are listening like, man, I'm rushing to get these books. Or they're equally yoked with you and they have read most of these books and they're happy that you're giving the knowledge. So it is that great journey that you're taking us on right now.
That sounds right. I think that's it. The One Big Thing, yeah.
Phil Cook, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's dive a little deep here. I want to discuss your lowest moment, and not just any lowest moment, when you were feeling like you didn't know yourself. And the only reason I want to talk about it because I want to know how you got up. This is for the people that need to know how to get up. This is great to know information and get all this information out, but there are recipes to everyone's disasters, and there's no cookie cutter way. But how did you get up from your lowest moment when you were feeling like you didn't know yourself?
Yeah, nah. So I can go back. I can give you one, definitely the lowest moment. But it was really like something that like was kind of outside of my like control. Like, or so lowest moment, and this is very, this is one of my lowest moments was when my wife and I we were trying to have our first child. We were pregnant, and we lost our child, like I think in the 6th month or something like that. So, you're planning a life like, we're about to do this. We're almost, this is, you had baby showers, and it's just like, you know what I mean? Like your mind is in a certain place, and like I haven't been rocked like that. I don't know ever having a feeling like that where it's just like
I feel rock listening to it.
Yeah, like I was literally like I was off. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know my wife. Like it was just a shock to us. Like what the heck just happened?
Mm-hmm.
And that was painful, man. So so that was a really painful, and I didn't know how I was gonna get through, or like how we were gonna get through. And I remember at the time, even that night when we were in the hospital, we lost the baby, and I'm holding my daughter in my arms. The earth shook. Literally, there was an earthquake that day. You know what I mean? There was a lot of different like issues, like things that occurred that were just signs.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just say like the earth shook, and that's when I felt like, yo, all right, we're gonna be all right. God was talking to me like, yo, it's like, yo, Keegs, don't worry about it. Kelly, you know what I mean? Wife, family, don't worry about it. And so I relied heavily on my faith. Like I'm not religious. I'm not a religious guy, but I'm spiritual, right? And so I know I got a connection and communication. I commune and talk to the Lord, and I'm telling you, man, like that that got me through. That got us through. Today he blessed us. What is it? Double for the trouble or something like that. We got 2 beautiful, healthy kids. And we learned a lot about health and through that whole ordeal. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think for me, the easy answer right there is in some of my.
Went out on me. I don't know what happened. Oh no, it might be my side. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me still? Hold on 1 second. It's out over here. Oh man, what is going on here? 1 second.
Can you hear me? Test.
I can hear you now. That was my side. The internet went out for a second. And some of you.
That's how they do in Abu Dhabi?
Okay, please continue.
Yeah, now I was just saying, like, in my darkest time, I think I'm a smart dude. I try to figure it out. And sometimes I can't figure it out. And I'm just like, yo, God, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, yo, I can't do it. I need your help. Take over. And sure enough, he showed up. You know what I mean? He, she, whatever you guys want to call it. But that spirit came and just like moved me. So I can't take credit, man. I wish I had the answer for it, man. You know what I mean?
We had a past guest on the show who was dealing with suicidal thoughts because something he loved came to an end, and he done everything to try to prevent it himself. And this was his lowest moment. He said he was sitting in the dark with the lights out, and he was at the final point where he was ready to end his life. But then he said he did everything he could do, but he forgot to do one thing. And I was like, what's that? What's that? He was like, pray.
Yeah.
And as soon as he started to pray, the front door opened at his home, and his wife had decided to come home early for work, and she never comes home early for work. So praying gave God enough time for her to open the door, and change his mind. So sometimes all we have is that higher power connection that's within us to send out the frequency that you really need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Don't forget about the number 1 frequency.
That really, and I think hopefully people pick up some of that energy. What I'm trying to express to you is like, yo, we think we can figure it out. And sometimes we do figure it out, right? But then there comes a point where it's like you hit a point, like you hit a couple walls, and you can't, not anything you do humanly, it ain't working. Mm-mm. How do you get past that pain? How do you fix, you know what I mean? Like
humanly, anything you do humanly, it ain't working. I hear you, brother. I hear you speaking. Yeah. Yes, yeah. I hear you. I appreciate you sharing that with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
What have you procrastinated on and why?
I definitely procrastinate on stuff like I don't know, man. You know what? Maybe starting a business or something like that. Like I'm in corporate America. You know what I mean? And then one thing that you do is as you get comfortable, you get the normal checks, you get the your bonuses and stuff like that. Then after a while, you got a family and kids and a mortgage or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, so I don't know. So I think maybe getting my feet back, feet wet back in the entrepreneurial realm. But I'm comfortable, so maybe that's something I need to revisit.
What would you jump back into if you were just thinking off the top of the head? Where does your entrepreneurial mind say this will be a great business without giving stuff away for somebody to steal from you, of course?
No, I don't even care. I have, my mind is like the pot is the, we don't got to reinvent the wheel. Like you can do the idea, and if you do it and you're successful, that's dope too. Like, you know what I mean? So, so I don't think there's a zero-sum game, I should say. You know what I mean? Like if you win, and I'm not necessarily losing. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I can't tell you right now. I really don't know. I'm waiting for something to really inspire me and encourage me to really to hit the. Actually, one thing I do have, you guys can check out. So there's it's like a side project, like a side thing that I've been doing. It's called Mogul Grind. Right? mogulgrind.com. And then you can go and check out some of the stuff. So I put together a little course just out of, it's not, I don't know how great it is or whatever, you know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? It's just like some basic knowledge for people that are interested in investing, you know what I mean? Or building wealth. So I might put more attention to that. You know what I mean? There's a price tag on it for now because it has to pay for itself. You know what I mean? It's like, just enough to keep it going at a very low price point.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Mobile Grind. How important is it to leave where you're from to develop yourself to where you're going?
Oh, very important. Very important. So one of my things, I love where I grew up. You know what I mean? It wasn't that crazy. It was just typical. It was a microcosm of any. It was a small town, but it was a microcosm of a big city. Like you had your projects, you had your hustlers, you had your, you know what I mean, everything. And so your environment, some of the people that you're around, and just the same people and that energy. Sometimes you got to go away to see the world. Like when I left my little town in New York and went down to DC for college, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the DMV. And I was like, yo, son, it was like an eye-opener. Like it was a lot bigger world, more people, different interactions, different lessons being learned. Right. I was like, yo. And then I went back to my hometown for for after college for a visit, or, you know what I mean? Or during like Christmas breaks or what have you. And I'll be like, yo, you can see the stark difference. Mm-hmm. And so that just getting away was able to broaden the mind, bring new experiences, and help you level up for your next position. And then that's not to say you like. And then let's say because home is comfortable for a lot of people. I remember trying to get people from my hometown to come down and just experience life or move to another place and experience it. Don't be afraid. If worse comes worse, you can always go back. You know what I'm saying? And so people were just too comfortable, and they just wanted to stay there. So I respected it. For me, I just wanted to get away. And then, eventually, I tried to get some people to do some investments in the hometown, but, they were a little gun shy at the time. But, eventually we'll see what else we can do. But bring that information back and help people, you know what I mean? So I think that might be another part of the journey as well.
Yeah, one of the biggest things I saw when I left and came back, it felt like time stood still.
Yeah.
It's like I was doing all these things. I was in college meeting all these new people, meeting all these new girls from different states, all my new homies from different places. And when I go back home excited, it was like nothing. Everybody looked, they didn't age. This just nothing was different.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage you, no matter where you're from a big city or a small town, it doesn't matter where you're from. Your normal does not change. You need to leave and shake it up a little bit and eat the frog, like he said. Like get out there and meet new people, because the more you communicate, your network will grow and you'll have so much more great things going for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
I have a new question, and you're the third person I'm gonna ask this question, and I'm polling this question to at least 5 gentlemen to let me know if I should keep this question or scrap this question. Now it gets a little deep, so that's why I want to know. Okay, here it is. You let me know, yes, I should keep it, no, and if you want to answer it, that's up to you. What was abusive to you that you thought was love? How did you recognize it, and how long did it take for you to accept it?
Ooh, that's a good one, man. I'm gonna say, I think I'm gonna say keep it. Now let me see if I could pull a story. Let me see, or an experience. So, what's abusive? Okay. Now I'm not gonna say my mother. Okay, let me do it like this. Okay, so the loved ones or people that are around you.
It could be anything. It could be circumstances. It could be loved ones. It could be you could be in the friend zone with a chick. Like it could be anything that you thought.
So I'm gonna say this because this is speaking to me. So your loved ones, your peers, your people, your own family, will, they may be coming from a place, who knows what the place is, but they love you. Mm-hmm. They love you, but they will try to keep you in a box because, people want you to be doing well, but maybe not better than them, or I don't know what the logic is, and I probably will never understand it, but like they'll try to keep you in a box and keep you right here. They'll try to keep you in a box and think that you, like, how do I articulate that? Like, I'll give you an example, like my mom, right? Like, I love her to death. Like, that's my mom. I love her. So she, coming up in, my mom said, yo, you can't go to I went to University of Maryland. You can't go to a big college. You just need to stay here locally because you don't have what it, pretty much, you don't have the personality to make it in a big, like a huge university or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, she meant it with her heart and love, you know what I mean? I love her to death. I know she didn't mean it with malice. It made me just coming from her own experiences and just trying to protect me or whatever. And I was like, are you crazy? Like, you must not know me. Like, come on.
The guy, I could do this.
I went down there and thrived. Like, you know what I mean? So I just say your loved ones, your moms, your boy, like that's just one example. But just understand what I'm saying. There's no malice. Like my mom is dope. She did her thing. Single mom, raised 2 boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just like people have their own maybe insecurities, or they might try to project it on you, and you just got to be aware. It's love, but that you know who you are, and take it to the next level.
Absolutely. I appreciate you answering that question, man. I know it can go a little deep down the rabbit hole with that one, because we all deal with that, something that is abusive to us that we hold on to, that we love so much, and we know it's bad. We know it pricks our finger, but we're willing to get used to the pricking versus the healing. And it's something that I think we got to address in manhood and talk about.
Yeah.
Talk to me about fatherhood and mentorship. And now I just don't want to know about being a father or how nice it is. I love my kids. They're so cute. I want to talk about how much you love your kids, but you don't like them right now. How much patience you have to have as a father. What's that tagline we always ask our kids? What are you doing? Talk to me about that. Those moments.
You know, it's funny, so now I'd say, parenthood is dope. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And especially if you want to be involved in their lives. Like, you know, I don't want to just give my son or my daughter an iPad, even though sometimes we do, and just let them veg out because I got to handle something. I like to be engaged with them. You see us in the park hitting the ball and doing all stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Pops was my pop, my Pops was, but he just wasn't there. So it's like I missed out on that guidance. You think what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want to be really involved in their lives. And then so just sometimes you're correcting them. Like my son, my wife was just saying, like, remember I felt like you used to love Cade, your son, but you didn't like him sometimes. Just kind of like what you said, like, you know what I mean? Literally, she said that last night. And I was like, and she was like, now he's growing on you, right? I was like, nah, that's fine, you know what I mean? But because I wanted to make sure he was tough. He wasn't because he's his mama's boy. He's a mama's boy. I'll tell you that right now. So I had to take him with me and be like, nah, we doing this. We doing our push-ups. This is what we doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he's evolving. Yeah, he's young, but he's evolving, and he's like, yeah, nah, I'm not scared. You know, he might be scared of the bathroom. You know what I mean? To go in a public bathroom and stuff. I'm like, yo, come on, let's go. So you know what I mean? Just toughening them up like that. And so that's that process, but it's a process, you know what I'm saying? And so if you could just sit there and be like, all right, you go hang with moms and do your thing or whatever, and whatever happens, but I'm involved and engaged. And at the same point in time, that involved and engagement can wear you down a little bit, like, you know what I mean? So right now we're at home, homeschooling, and I'm working from home as well. And so sometimes I'm not able to be in the office. I have to, like in my home office, I have to go, be upstairs with the kids and involved. And I'm on a conference calls trying to talk, and they're loud in the background presenting, or, you know what I mean? It's just a challenge. So that brings another layer of stress, but it's nothing that can't be handled. And it's all part of the process. You know what I mean?
It's all part.
I talked about my son, but my daughter, she got my mother freaking heart. Like she can do anything. Like, all right, man, all right. You know what I mean? But I know how it is in this world, man. Like raising a black child, a black man, like a black child. It's like, yo, you gotta do certain things to prepare them. Actually, my daughter as well. I'm gonna prepare her too, but she's younger. She's like 2. You know what I mean? So, you gotta prepare them, and you gotta put that work in. You know what I mean? Because society is tough.
You know what I hate right now, though, and I'm sure people around the world are dealing with this. I actually had to take my 3-year-old son to get a COVID exam. So what I tried to do was wait till he fell asleep, so this way they can administer the exam. He'll just do, rub his nose, not knowing what's going on. So we were successful doing it the first time, but then they called us back in the middle of the day and was like, well, we need to run some more exams for people in the area because there was somebody around who might have been contacted. So we have to go run the exam while he's wide awake. I remember my mom holding me down. Remember how you used to get blood drawn from you in the hospital, and took some of us took it like a G, but not me. When I was young, it took like 6 nurses to hold me down so they could stick the butterfly needle in my arm. Now, not so much. I'm not scared, right? But to hold your son down while they do the COVID exam is so tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, y'all. So out there, just being a father and watching him play and stuff like that is cool, but you got to have a level of patience in that regard too. You got to trust somebody else with your son. Knowing one wrong movement, something can go really wrong.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing with us with that. Being patient as a father is hard, and you're gonna have to juggle so many things.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to juggle your passion with your kids. And your wife is still going to be saying, you're not spending enough time with me, because when you're engulfed in your vision. Listen, man, I'm going to tell you something. You're working hard when your wife says you're not spending time with her. Mm-hmm. That is your barometer. If she's not saying that to you, you're not working hard enough. Facts are not facts. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know I'm working hard when she goes, oh, you're going to do these interviews all day?
Word.
I know I'm working hard at my purpose, and my wife asked me why am I doing my time. That's amazing, right? Right. Go for that, fellas. It works. Trust me. They respect it deep down inside. Trust me. I got a question for you I like asking the men on the show, which is a fun question. And it's always something that, I always want to know because I think it's fun for me. I don't know how fun it is going to be for you, but let's see. Did you ever get a sex talk? Who or what gave you sex education?
Ooh, so now my mom gave me a book when I was like probably maybe 13, like I think middle school time. She gave me a book to read, you know what I mean? And so I read that and pretty much got the concept. But the sex talk, I got it from my peers for the most part, you know what I mean?
Horrible.
Yeah, it was tough,
like they don't know anything.
We were just figuring it out, man.
Right. I'm trying to change the narrative. I'm trying to us not to be afraid to have the real sex talk. And I'm talking about the real sex. I'm talking about the young men, right? The real sex talk where we talk about how the government will insert themselves in your relationship with child support issues and things of that nature. All these things come from, I feel now, building a foundation around how important it is that sex is fun, enjoy it. You can have a lot of joy with it, but there's a lot of things on the back end that you want to try to prevent. This is why you do these things. Not because you want to feel like, yo, I'm about to go raw in this because she fine. Right. Think about, they don't know everything that comes with it.
Right. That's a fact. Yeah.
The stresses of losing your passport, your driver's license, because now you don't have money to pay for a child, to pay 10 times more you would actually pay if you were there.
Right.
They're taking everything out of your check because you didn't think of anything on the back end.
Right. That's a good one. That's a good ministry. What you gonna do with that?
I don't know. It's just a conversation. I'm just talking about it so people could be aware that I think sex is amazing. I think sex is fun, but I think there's also, I say this all the time, there's a moment where the man does not reach for the condom right there in the dresser in the middle of the activity. He's just gonna say, I'm gonna roll with the flow. But I feel like if we talk to each other and have the real conversations about sex, not just the action, but actual the repercussions and stuff. If we talking to our kids at a young age, he'll grab that condom and make his chances even better to just enjoy that moment. Because the reality is people are going to enjoy moments. Everybody's not going to go to church round and wait till they get married. These things don't regularly have the opportunity to be taught. So we need to have some more stuff in place. And one of my guests told me it starts with your kids learning respect for, your son learning respect for women is one of the first starts of preventive action. But I ask you, Mr. Sims, how early do you think you're going to talk to your son about sex? Are you going to give him the casual talk, or are you really going to go in? Or are you just going to gauge it by his maturity?
Nah, we gonna talk. Like we gotta talk. Like I like that confrontation. Like I don't shy away from. I think my kids are coming back. My wife and kids are coming back right now. So yeah, like I like, and I'm gonna gauge it too. Like when I think he's ready, you know what I mean? We're gonna talk about it. It's just like, we just gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it with my son and my daughter, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna shy away from it.
Absolutely.
I don't know how I'm gonna do it, what exactly I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna have my plan out, you know what I mean? See what works and figure it out.
Well, if you get something that works, man, don't afraid to put it in the atmosphere so other men can copy it. If it works, it works. We could all use it together. Yeah. I'm not sure how I'm gonna approach my son, but I'm engaged. I just want to make sure that he understands what he has and that he keeps this private parts to himself right now at his young age, you know. Should there be a basic training program amongst men, a level of education given out like skill traits, where in our communities outside the school system, outside of the library, outside of the church, where we talk about financial literacy, communication, how to change a tire, how to change a tie, gardening, general wealth building, stocks, relations, talking to the elderly with intent. For example, you live in your community right now. I know you have a lot of work to do. I know you're a father, but maybe you take 30 minutes a day and you talk to these kids. You talk to 8, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds about the importance of real estate. Even if they don't get it, like they're getting the lessons as a village. And the next male or female next door to you, they're experts on gardening. And now all the kids are taking 30 minutes instead of them playing video games and stuff. Like if they don't know to play these things, they don't know, oh, we're going gardening today. I'm growing tomatoes. Like it's something exciting about that when these activities are there in the community.
Yeah.
And now they have all these skills as well as their time to be children. You ever think we can implement something like that?
I think we can. I think we can implement something like that. Will we? I don't know. Like, is there resources? Like who's gonna actually do it? We could talk about it all day.
Right.
I'm down too. Like, if we want to start doing an organization or something. I just don't know. So I've been doing it organically, like just like with people that are in my sphere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to them and just giving them the game and giving them the knowledge and try to put together a package that they can understand and do it that way. But ideally, it would be dope to do it on scale, at scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, no, that's. I mean, you got to do it, and I don't want to rely upon school to teach the kids, my kids, or anything. Like, no, we got to take that into our own control. Like, my son, like, sits there he watches the financial shows with me. He's like, "Yo, Daddy, can we buy stocks? I want Disney today." You know what I mean? So he'll watch what's the Mad Money with Jim Cramer, like, yo, and he'll mimic him and like do the Mad Money, buy. You know what I mean? Is it time for the lightning round, Dad? So I like to see that, and so him understanding about the stock market and the power that it has. You know what I'm saying? That can be leveraged, and I want our folks to not be scared of it, because it's a wealth building tool that's been available. It's right there in front of our faces, and people have been doing this for years, getting wealthy off of it, while they use this jargon and this language that just makes you think like, oh, this is scary. It's too risky. I just heard the stock market dropped and people lost their money. You hear that, but you don't see that over the life of the stock market, compound interest is your friend, especially if you got a long-term horizon. You dig what I'm saying?
All right. The first thing happened when the pandemic happened. I said, who getting rich off this? Yeah. I'm like, who's getting rich off this pandemic? Oh, the stock market, because everything is going to go down, and most companies will be back. You just do your research, because you know they're coming back. So for the amount of people listening to my voice, if last year, 2020, March 19th, if you didn't have everything you could get, it's no excuse, because everybody got a stimulus check the week before the market crashed. So if you had knowledge and privy information, you take your little 600 or your little 1200, you could have turned that into at least $20,000. At least 20,000.
I ain't gonna say 20,000. You come on, son, but I get the.
No, let me put you on game. Let me tell you how. I'll tell you how. I'll break it down right now. They gave us $1,200 stimulus check in March. In March of 2020, Tesla stock was $250 a share.
All right, say no more. Say less. I got you.
$250. Let's break it down to the people so they can understand. It was $250 a share. So you have $1,200. That means you can buy what? You could buy 6 shares. Let's say you bought 6 at $250 a share. Within 6 months, each share was worth $2,700 each. Then at the end of that 6 months, the stocks did something called splitting, where they lowered the value of the stock so more people can buy it. So in reward for that, for you, every stock that you owned, they gave you 5 more. So which dropped the stock down to $295 a share, ladies and gentlemen. So now you have 30 shares of Tesla. Today, that stock is now worth $900 a share. That is $18,000 from a $1,200 investment in less than a year.
Yeah.
That is
it's a powerful tool, brother.
Yes, exactly. And now think about the amount of people who had more than $1,200. Message. And you didn't have to work to get it, because it was a stimulus check from the government if you're in the United States. You didn't do anything. I just wanted to put that out there, ladies and gentlemen. Some people benefited off of that.
Yeah.
I want to poll you, Mr. Sims. I would like to know the top 3 things you like in a woman. And I ask you this because there's always one word that I feel men don't say. And when I say it, they go, oh yeah, that's right. But I want to see if you at least get it off the top 3. Now, this is subjective. This is honed towards how you feel. So there's no wrong answer.
Yeah. Top 3. I want to say, like, I'm attracted to them. So I got to be attracted to you. So what attracts me to you? You know, you will be lying if we don't say physical. You know what I mean? Mental, like what's your goals and aspirations? Where you trying to achieve, and where you trying to go, and what type of person are you? Your value system. I want to say you're. I like a person to have a spiritual connection to a higher power. You don't got to be devoutly religious and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? And so I just like to understand that there's something greater than us. You know what I mean? And maybe if I backslide or go too far left, you'd be like, yo, you know what I mean? Let's just pray about it. Let's do something. You know what I mean? Or however you want to do it. So, what I say? I said physically attractive.
Physical attraction, mental stability, value, and you said what was the last one? It just escaped my mind.
Spiritual, like a spiritual
connection. Absolutely. Those are all great things that you need in a person. Absolutely. What about intelligence?
Well, I think that goes with like your core, like who are you? What you're about.
It's not guaranteed. Every guy goes, well, you know what it is.
Yeah, you gotta be like to be around me. Like I can't, like if I can't have a conversation with you and stretch and dialogue and I can come to you and you can be like, yeah, here, and lend your thoughts on it, like intelligently based upon facts or experiences or something. Like, then it's just like we can't even. You won't even get to the level of girlfriend or anything. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
And back in those days, maybe we might hang out and stuff, but I can't.
How much are you trying to understand communication? I know you read a lot of books on financial gains and self-growth, but how much are you trying to understand communication, like love languages and things, to make sure that you are giving the right conversations and the right key phrases when you're dealing with your significant other?
Yeah, so EIQ, right? Like emotional intelligence, emotional IQ, being able to read signs, nonverbals, and stuff like that. That's very important. So, that's very big, and I try to hone it because, so like when you're married and just having a relationship and a long-term relationship, you gotta have give and take, and you can't be your way or the highway. You're not right all the time. You can't be, or else you will fail. You won't be successful. So for me, I gotta learn when to push and pull and when to fight certain battles and when to like put my foot down. Like, nah, we're not doing that. And like, this is the plan. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so. But you got to make sure that they feel valued as well, and they're contributing. And like years ago, back in Maryland, First Baptist Church, Pastor John Jenkins, right? He had a good saying that kind of resonated with me. He said, like in the household, in his household, and in the household, it's like, yo. At the end of the day, the buck stops with someone, right? The buck stops here. Someone's got to make a decision. I'm the man. I'm like, I'm the head, right? I got to make the decision. But your wife, your spouse is the neck, right? So the neck has tremendous influence on where your head looks. Where you, they control, like she controls she's really the controller. Like, yo, when you think about it, like, yo. All right, here, you do this, I'm control, like, so, but at the end of the day, like, we got to be like, yo, but she has tremendous influence, and she's like the COO of the house. Like, I'll make the, you know what I mean? Sometimes that's her area. Like, you make that final decision. I don't, but ultimately, like the roadmap of your family, your organization, I look at my family as a business, kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, this is my organization. Like you control this over here, you do that. Let's get together and make sure that this company, if I was an investor, would I invest in this family, in this company? Mm-hmm. Like, what's your debt looking like? What's the company's debt? Like, what's your revenue looking like? What's this? What's your prognosis? What's your future prospects looking like? How are the kids are they set up to go to school? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the family is, and so we kind of come together and make these decisions. But your COO and your she has tremendous value and influence, and she's right there with you, and she can point you in the right direction, so you're not looking over here, and so you can't use that information to make another decision. You know what I'm saying? So tremendous. It's a partnership between the head and the neck. You know what I mean? So if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense, man. Just got to be careful and understand that the motion and which way you look and see how that a woman has vision. Even though
Yeah,
you may be the head of the household and give the final say so, she brings you to it. She incubates it and make you better for you to see and understand.
there you go. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the way that I want to articulate it. So I don't want it to sound sexist or anything to anyone. Is like, yo, the woman, like, yo, my wife has tremendous power, control over her areas that she's like, yo, you run with it. I don't gotta. That's your thing. But for the overall organization, somebody gotta be the buck gotta stop with someone.
Listen, there's some guys out there who are sending signals to the neck to move, and they have stiff necks.
Mm-hmm.
They can't see nothing coming because they're not working together right with the person they with.
Right. So you gotta work. It's a partnership. You dig what I'm saying? It's like,
I get it.
Yeah.
Get it. You can't even say yes or no to anything. You just can't move.
Right. You know what I mean? It's like, all right. So
you just gritting your teeth. Like, I can't believe this. Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely. We talk about leaving a legacy, but mostly ignore major steps. Do you have a will?
Yeah, we got a will. Actually, we got a will, and we got a the other part is we're doing it's important for us to do a trust. So we got trust fund kids. That's crazy. When I was coming up, would you ever imagine you're gonna have you got trust, you got to trust, you try to trust fund babies, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know it's weird because my grandmother used to buy us bonds as kids. I was like, this is an awful birthday present, but it really isn't. But as a kid, like, where's the toys? A bond?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So yeah, so it's important, that's succession, you know what I mean? So you don't got to go to probate and have the courts go through all this stuff, and you know what I mean? It just makes it a lot easier in the transition, because we don't like to think about death and until it's pretty late in the game. So
why do you think we don't like talking about death?
Huh?
Why do you think we run away from the conversation?
It's scary, man. You want to think you're gonna be here forever. You don't want to think about not being here, and so I just think I think it's natural to just kind of avoid it and think that but life happens. If you do the knowledge and do the math, stuff happens. You just want to be prepared for it. It's like insurance, you know what I mean? You just want to be prepared.
It's only a one-time conversation, pretty much, to say, hey, this is where this is. This is all the information, and that's it. We ain't got to talk about it no more.
Right. Yeah, just get it out the way. Let's eat that frog. Let's just set up the time, do the hard thing, knock it out, and just move on.
Do the hard thing. Eat that. That's a great lesson. If you're still listening here, it's a great lesson for you to eat the frog. Do the hardest thing you can when you give in the morning, so the rest of your day will feel like jelly. Just go down easy, right? Everything tastes sweet.
Because speaking of that one big thing is just to go back to, because if you notice, throughout the day, we have a certain amount of capacity, mental capacity. And as you get further and further along in the day, that capacity just you don't have much energy to do hard thinking. You know what I mean? And so if you wait to do a hard thing towards the end of the day, it's going to get pushed to the next thing. So that's that procrastination, or you might do a small piece of it and it's lose it. But if you cannot, when your energy is at its highest, scientifically, it's proven your energy and mental bandwidth and everything is ready, peak, early in the morning. Knock that tough thing out, and then if you get to the other small stuff, then you get to it. But
the first thing I try to do now is I go work out as soon as I wake up, because I know if I wait any other time in the day, it's not gonna get. I can do that. I can go ride my 5 miles on my bike later. No. As soon as you get up, go take that 45 minutes, get out there, loosen up the muscles, and get right. And when I come back, it's I forgot I even worked out. I just go handle my business at that point. I got another question for you that's very subjective. We only got a few questions left. I'm not going to hold you too much longer because I know it's a busy day and you got things to do. This question I have here, there's no wrong answer for this question, but I would love to hear your perspective and why you chose what you chose. As a husband, would you rather have a great woman or a great wife?
A great woman. So as a husband, would I rather have a great woman? Well, what's the difference?
That's on you. This question is for you.
Okay. I think a great wife is a great woman. So I'm gonna say a great wife.
Okay, break it down now. Break it down to us if you don't mind.
Yeah. So a wife does, she's a good partner, right? So she's a good partner. We split up the household chores and duties and stuff like that. We raise a good wife is a good mother. Like she's raising, helping to raise and impart certain qualities into our children and values. And I want to say, yeah. So that and a good person. So a good woman is she has a lot of those qualities. You know what I mean? I think they're like a good wife does the wifely things as well. You know what I mean? A good woman is just, she might have other qualities like, some she might be intelligent, she might be have a good heart, but she might not be good with children or like doing things around, with the family and for the household. So I think a good wife encompasses the other parts of a good woman. So a good woman needs to can be elevated if she wants to be. She might not want to get married or anything, but a good woman could be elevated to a good wife as well.
Absolutely. Hey, there's no wrong answer. The answer is subjective towards yourself. I ask every man that question. Everybody has their own version of what they would pick and what they would choose. And it's interesting to hear it every time. Where you at with it? What would you like in your life to be sustainable?
I like these. I couldn't even prepare for these, man. I'm thinking on the
That's
flow.
the whole point, man. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Validation from your partner. It's like you win a championship when you meet the right woman. But Mr. Sims, I ask you this. Do you defend the title? And what I mean by that is, when you first met your woman, you were doing so many nice things. You were this guy, this aura, this built, this guy, like full of pizzazz, right? Are you competing with the best versions of yourself to maintain that, to continue to be the champion that she deserves?
1,000%. I don't even think about that. 1,000%, because I try to be the best version of myself. I want her to be the best version of herself. I want each person that I'm rocking with, that's in my sphere of influence, to be the best version of themselves. Don't compete with the Joneses. Run your own race is what I always tell people. Run your own race. Be the best version of you. You know what I mean? So every day, I still hit you see this right here, this machine right here was an investment. All right. It's called Tonal. That's a free pub for Tonal. TONAL. That machine is amazing. So it does everything for just staying healthy. Like everything I can do in the gym, since I don't really go to the gym, I invested in this. Anything I could do in the gym, working out wise, I can do on this machine. You understand? So like resistance, weights, yoga, meditation, family stuff with the kids, like we're getting them into working out, exercise, all this from this machine. So so staying healthy. So that's an important part of me. Like she met me when I was, I was peak fit, and I still maintain that. Hopefully, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Good inputs, eating. I'm plant based. I might go off script and have some fish. You know what I mean? Some fish and stuff sometimes. And occasionally, if I'm like around family on the holidays and they have a dish that has something that I don't normally eat, I might try some. So I'm not strict like that. You just find your balance. You know what I mean? So find what works for you. So what you're eating, exercising, mentally, I'm keeping the mind right. You're learning every day, reading. So yeah, I think so, man. I try to take her on dates and surprise her with things here and there, and so yeah, I think so.
You know what? My final question I always like to ask. It's not even a question, right? I came up with something called operating at 100%. I feel like I don't even need to ask you this, but hey, I always want to put this in the atmosphere to encourage others to evaluate themselves. So some of these questions I ask on the show, it's really not about you. It's just about the topic of conversation to introduce into someone's life to see if they even know this existed, right? These things that you are that make you a person of success or to put you in the mindset of moving in the right direction. I came up with something called operating at 100%. And what I mean by that is I took 5 categories: purpose, health, confidence, money, and knowledge. I gave them 20% each, adding up to 100. I do a daily grade of myself, and within 6 days' time, I do an average for the week to see how I've been operating. So I'm talking about purpose, health, confidence, money, and knowledge. Purpose meaning you're working your purpose every day. Health meaning you're working out, meditating, praying right, eating right. Confidence means you're doing without any fear or any intimidation or any insecurities. Money, you made a little money, invested a little money, saved a little money, gave to a charity. And knowledge, you took in some new information. Now, Mr. Sims, within the last 24 hours, out of purpose, health, confidence, money, and knowledge, how much of 100% have you been operating out of?
Ooh, I love it. So purpose, health,
confidence, money, and knowledge.
I want to say, so I got 4 out of 5. I say 20, like 20 for each of those. Let's say 80, and then the last one was what was that last one?
Knowledge.
Oh yeah, I'm at 5. I'm at 100%.
I knew you would be. That's I was like, I'm looking forward to asking you this one.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I do my reading, I listen to my audiobooks and stuff like that. Right now I'm listening to The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. That was Warren Buffett's teacher. So that's just expanding the knowledge. Investments. Every day I buy shares. I try to buy a little, especially when they dip or whatever. Doing that. Confidence. I think all those other elements combine to make me confident. Like if I'm working on those and those are at peak, then I feel I'm doing what I'm doing. This, like I try to share a game like Mobile Grind. I try to impart some knowledge to people via that avenue. So just sharing. I don't want nothing from anybody. You know what I mean? I just want to, it's only going to be for a few people that really it resonates with. I want them to, they'll take that knowledge and do what they can and share that with someone else. That's the goal. Here, we sharing our stories. You know what I mean? So that did I hit? What was the other?
Purpose, confidence, health, money, and knowledge.
Health, and we hit money, knowledge, education, but health.
Yeah,
I did a workout last night. Did some meditation last night. I didn't do it this morning, but I'm gonna get to it too. You know what I mean? Like get to it as well. So that's. Always gonna put good inputs into the body, man. It's so important. Like you can't outwork a poor diet. You know what I'm saying? Like you might look okay on the outside, but your insides might be rotten. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
D.L. Hughley said, "Black don't crack, but don't take an X-ray."
yeah. You know what I'm saying? On that inside, man. So we got to be conscious of. We got to work on all four cylinders. Like what you're eating inside of you is important, what's coming inside of your body, and exercising. And then you knock those two out, you'll be in a good position to fight anything that comes along, God willing. You know what I mean? God
willing. Thank you, sir. You are now part of the Silhouette Boys Club. It is people like you who move in the shadows to help people like me shine. Now, before you go, we love to get referrals for the show. If there's any man out there you think will further the conversation on this platform to grow us in manhood?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Now I'll put you on. Yeah, we could talk to. You want me to say the name? Say the name out?
It doesn't matter who you get. It could be Trey Elton, a guy you met at the basketball game, somebody you think can grow this conversation in manhood. Yeah, I want somebody that can give us some experience and talk.
Yeah, I got a couple people. We'll see. I'll see about El. You know what I mean? That would be good for the show. You know what I mean?
But whoever you got, you give us one right now, though. I mean, whatever you got, be cool.
I'm gonna do my boy. So one of the people that I'm gonna suggest maybe my boy Rick or Lloyd, right? So these are some of the people that when you start calling and just keeping people close that are doing things that y'all are on the same page and they're not gonna lead you down a certain path, like you got to start hanging with the right people. Right. And so these are some of my peers that I met in college, and we kicked it for to today. Like this is over 20 years. Right. It's crazy, time flying, right? So we started a financial group, you know what I mean? So we just teaching each other financial lessons and pooling our resources to invest in different projects, you know what I mean? So
right.
So I'll, and they're business owners. They're successful business owners. My boy Lloyd is doing it.
Richard Lloyd, we are looking for you to come on to the show. You got to connect me with them so we can get them on.
Yeah. So we'll do that connect, man, for real.
Absolutely. Before you go, is there anything else you would like to tell us about, even about your website one more time for information, or anything you would like to let us know about you today, or any last closing words?
Yeah, that's, just be the best version of yourself. I love that living in your 100%. Like that's awesome. I'm gonna get with you and see about doing this. I might start doing some interviews for Mogul Grind too. So I'm gonna see what this package look like. And then for just check me out on Mogul Grind. You know what I mean? I don't even put that out there. Like nobody really knows that like I'm behind that or really rocking with that. But it's just like it's like my alter ego where I'm just being able to share basic information, and then we'll figure out how we gotta make it more scalable in the future. So maybe I'll focus some attention on that.
Everybody, do not be afraid to invest in yourselves. When you do that, you see things grow out of you that you never knew was there.
There you go.
For those listening, you can reach me at SOULutions4Men@gmail.com to be a guest on the show. Also at Sheem1 on all platforms. Let's continue this conversation on Clubhouse, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or even in the street, wherever we may meet. We end today's show with a quote from Dr. Miles Monroe. Excuse me. True success is not measured by how much you have done or accomplished. It's not compared to what others have done or accomplished. True success is what you have done compared to what you could have done. In other words, living to the maximum is competing with yourself. It's living up to your own true standards and capabilities. Success is satisfying your own personal passion and purpose in pursuit of personal excellence. So question of the day, question of your life, are you maximizing your life? Mrs. Sims, I thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been SOULutions.